everybody, I'm about to be sanding, which is why I'm in my bathroom and wearing a mask and wearing this. I don't even know if you're going to be able to hear me through this, but that's fine. So, I've been carving the face that Sarah gave me, Pine Sign Spouse. And I'm sure I hear people in the background already screaming in horror because I'm sanding a BJD face that you can't even get anymore. But that's fine, because I want it to look a certain way. And I'm sorry for the upshot, but there's no other spot to put this thing. So, amusingly enough, before I turned this on, I had to remove, or more specifically check, for all the dicks in here. Because this is a very sex-positive household. And so there are cocks and other things all over the place. And because it's the bathroom, so that's where, you know, everything gets cleaned. But I literally had to look around and be like, did I get everything? Yeah, I got everything. And I was like, oh no, there's another one sitting on the shelf in the shower. So I'm going to try getting down at this angle instead. Oh, there we go. I'm literally on the floor right now. Let's try doing this way. So this tool is a diamond file. BB picked this up from that sculpting place. I'm gonna try to see. Yeah, this is literally my bathtub. So what I do, and you shouldn't be doing this inside, but I'm doing this inside, and I should be wearing glasses, but I don't have mine right now, and I'm still gonna do this. So it is what it is. I know, cancer. I'm very aware. I'm not being a badass or anything. Oh, and so I'm gonna stop for a second. Recently, somebody was talking to me, and let me rinse my hands off instead of rubbing my face like an idiot. Why don't I have my gloves on? See, this is why you should have like a checklist before you do these things. Let me get my gloves. We have so many gloves in this house. Somebody recently made a comment to me about something being badass, and I felt I should probably explain a thing on here, which is I cannot gauge badass surgery. I literally don't look at something and go, that's badass. I don't think I'm capable. And the reason for that is, hold on, I'm gonna redo this so it's done right. The reason is because I just don't view things that way. It's probably also because I don't go about things being like, oh, how can I be more badass or whatever. I don't give a shit about that stuff. I'm never going to give a shit about that stuff. And probably that's because I hate when people try to impress me. It annoys the shit out of me. And I hate when people try to impress each other. It annoys the shit out of me. If you want to make me not like you really fucking fast, try to impress me. I will probably never bother with you again. And that sounds really weird and convoluted probably. It's like, well, everybody tries to impress everybody. I really don't. Like, the only time I ever try to... Actually, no, that's wrong. I was going to say the only time I try to be impressive is back in the day when I used to deal with, you know, like getting hired for a company or something like that. But that's not true. I would go in literally looking like me, sit down and be like, blah, 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 and then I would get hired. And by blah, 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 I would literally talk like myself. So, who knows? But so, and that goes into the, as usual, the ASPD stuff. Because when you have, I've found, between myself and other people that I have worked with and known that have antisocial personality disorder. Just checking this. I'm shaving down the jowls. Like, I want it to look less babyish, and it's a very slow process, but that's fine. This thing is a godsend. Like, I've never had a carving tool or a sanding tool that is this wonderful in my goddamn life. But I always find people that have ASPD, when they try to be impressive, is when they get themselves into the worst kinds of fucking trouble. I mean, that's to be said for anybody anyways, but because ASPD is such typically low-level impulse control, or it might be high-level impulse control with low level of trying to think how to word this. Like, a lot of people that have higher impulse control that have ASPD have that because their compulsions, though, are much higher, so they're trying to handle their compulsions. Let me rip this off again. I know for me, every single time, because I know I've mentioned this before, every time I retest my levels, which I do regularly, though by now I know where I'm at. I don't even need to test because that's how science works. You do something enough times, you learn how things are measured, and then you can kind of do it mentally. And if I'm unsure, I recheck. But, so like, for me, I have a lot of compulsions that would get me into a massive amount of trouble. By massive amount of trouble, I mean jail or dead. And I have no interest in either of those things, because I would be so fucking bored in jail, and I would probably just disappear off into my own head. Also, my parents ingrained in me at a very early age, don't go to jail. It's the worst thing for you. And then, whew, getting up and down over and over. I could do it in the bathtub, but I really don't want to. It's less splash room in the sink. But, God, this is taking off so much so fast. This is so fucking great. I'm so happy right now. I love this tool. It's ridiculous. You should have seen me when I walked up. There was an entire, what's it called? There was an entire row of counter cases, like glass counter cases, and in them you look down, and some of you may have seen it if you watch the Instagram live story video of the store. The store is fucking amazing. I love the fact that they have that many already mixed resin colors. It's gonna make life so much easier. But I walked up, and all those stainless steel tools, it makes me so happy. I'm a very big medical tools autopsy person. It did help me out a lot when I lived down in Virginia and was able to raise and process my own meat. It was very, very therapeutic for me, and that's what I'm talking about with the ASPD. Like, me and BB have been talking a lot lately, and it's the whole thing of, like, their society tries to teach you that you all have to think and behave in the same way, and the thing is, that's literally not how anything works, and that's not how evolution works. And the fact is, some of us, despite the fact of how much we've heavily domesticated ourselves as a species, some of us just aren't fucking domesticated. I'm not one of those people. I can't behave in a domesticated way. It makes me fucking crazy. I can pretend, but not for long, and that's why I look and act like me. I don't look and act like me to the extent that I want to, but sadly, I live around humans that are, everyday, highly domesticated behavior humans. But that's why, like, I need to be able to be out running around all over the place. I need to be able to be wandering and finding things, picking stuff off the ground, doing stuff like that. That's why I can defend myself if I need to. That's why I'm not afraid of people coming up and trying to hurt me or hurting me. I mean, that's life. And that's why I'm able to progress forward in the way that I do. That's why, like, I'm able to process and eat my own animals. That's why I also don't view animals and humans any different than anything else. Animals, humans, and plants, They're all the same thing to me. It's all energy that is all living. And that's why, like, I eat everything as ethically as possible. I'm not even going to go into the whole thing of, like, people that are like, oh, you know, I don't eat animals because I don't want to be hurting and upsetting them. Well, what about all the fucking people that have to work in those literal fields getting you your overly processed plants, which are covered in fucking pesticides and yada yada yada? You don't care about them. They're probably dying of fucking cancer at an early fucking age for that fucking reason, among a billion other problems that they have, health-wise and poverty and otherwise. But no, you don't give a shit because it's not a fluff ball or covered in cute feathers or whatever. And I think that's bullshit on so many levels. This is such a slow process. I'm going to stop in a minute because of my hands. So we were talking the other day about the whole thing of, like, I'd rather die like a wolf than be a sheep. And I'm not a fucking herding dog. Like, I've tried to pretend to be that, to be able to live life comfortably around people. But that's just not how I function, and that's fine. It's taken me a long time to accept that. But I guess my point is, the sooner you accept who and what you are, and therefore take responsibility for who and what you are, not by trying to dull yourself down and numb yourself out, because God knows that doesn't work. The sooner you take responsibility for yourself and do what you were fucking put here to do, you benefit everybody. You rinse this off and I'm probably going to take a break. Oh my God, this is coming out beautifully. So, yes, I'm starting to get more of a point on the chin, and that's what I want. Do this for just a couple more seconds. I love the curve on this. Like, it just shapes to the face so perfectly, so that way I can literally make it however the fuck I want. It's just so damn nice. So, probably going to be doing some video down in Virginia, a tiny bit, just to check in while I'm down there. And I'll be trying to do this more regularly. Hi, BB. I'll be out in a second. Yep, give me just 1 second. So, I'm going to be stopping for the sake of my hands. But, that's the beginning of the changes of the chin, which you guys probably can't see too much of it, but the jowls are much less now. And I'm going to be shaping here and here in more. And then taking down the cheeks maybe a little bit, but I don't think so. So anyways, whew. Nice chat. See you all later. Oh my God. Do what you're put here to do. Who gives a fuck about their opinions about it? Have fun. I will see you later.